Good day, Madam. My name is Kelawit Marie Peralta Rosales, and our topic is all about undecidability. Undecidability, in the context of computation theory, refers to the fact that some problems are inherently unsolvable by any algorithm. This means there's no computer program, no matter how clearly designed or powerful, that can correctly determine the answer for all possible inputs to these problems. Decidability versus undecidability. There are two types of TMs based on halting. Recursive TMs that always halt, no matter accepting or non-accepting. Decidable problems. Recursively enumerable TMs that are guaranteed to halt only acceptance if non-acceptance if may or may not halt. Undecidable problems are those that are not recursive. Recursive, RE, and undecidable language. So as you can see, na siya nakabutang no TMs exist. Non-RE language, all other language for which no TMs can be built. There are language for no Turing machine can be constructed. They are fundamental undecidable. Regular language DFA. These are the simplest language recognized by deterministic finite automata. DFA's examples include simple patterns in text. Context-free language PDA. These are more complex, recognized by push automata. PDAs, they include many programming language grammars. So next, context-sensitive language. Even more complex, they require more powerful automata than PDAs. So TMs that always halt is recursive. These languages are decidable. There exists a TM that halts for every input correctly, deciding whether the input belongs to the language or not. Undecidable problems, recursively enumerable or RE. These languages are partially decidable. A TM can halt and accept input belonging to the language, but it might not halt for inputs that don't belong to the language. Recursive languages and recursively enumerable languages. So, muna siya example sa recursive o recursive enumerable. Muna siya. Ang recursive kay naa siya accept and reject. So, recursively enumerable or RE. So, ang RE, nara siya accept, di siya pareho sa recursive, accept and reject. RE language shows a TM with only one output arrow, accept. This means the TM only halts and accepts if the input string belongs to the language. However, if the input string does not belong to the language, the TMs might not halt if could not run forever. Closure properties of the recursive language class and the recursively enumerable language class. A language family like recursive language is closed under complementation if, for every language L in the family, its complement denoted as L is also in the same family. The complement of a language L contains all strings that are not in L. Recursive language are decidable. A Turing machine, or TMs, always halt and correctly decide membership for any input string. The diagram illustrates how construct a TM for the complement of a recursive language. We start with a TM M that decides the original recursive language L. It always halts and outputs accept or reject. Recursive langs are closed under union. Let MU is equal TM for L1 union L2. MU constructions. Make two types and copy input W on both types. Simulate M1 on tape 1. Simulate M2 on tape 2. Simulate M2 on tape 2. If either M1 or M2 accept, then MU accept. Otherwise, MU is reject. 2-tape TM-MU is a 2-tape Turing machine. This means it has 2 separate tapes to work with. The input string W is copied onto both tapes. Simulation MU simulates 2 other TMs. M1 A TMs that decide L1. M2 A TMs that decides L2. Or logic, MU acts like OR gate. If either M1 or M2 accepts, then MU is accepts. Rejections, if both M1 and F2 reject out, then MU is reject. Because both M1 and M2 are TMs for recursive languages, they always halt. Therefore, MU will always halt as. It waits for both simulations to finish. Since MU always halts and correctly decides membership in L1 union L2, we've shown that the union of 2 recursive languages is also recursive language. Here's an example illustrating how recursive languages are close under union. Let's consider 2 recursive languages. L1, the language of all string of balance parentheses example string, close parentheses and open parentheses. Close parentheses, and open parentheses, open parentheses. Next is close parentheses, open parentheses, and close parentheses and open parentheses, open parentheses. L2, the language of all string consisting of only AS example string A, AA, and AAA. Both L1 and L2 are recursive because we can construct Turing machine or TMs that decide membership in them. Let's call these TMs M1 and M2 respectively. Recursive langs are close under intersection. This describes the constructions of Turing machine MN that proves recursive language are close. Under intersection, this means if L1 and L2 are recursive languages, then their intersections L1 and L2 is also recursive language. 2-tape setup. MN uses tapes. The input string W is copied onto both tapes. Simulation. MN simulates Turing machine M1 deciding L1 on tape 1 and Turing machine M2 deciding L2 on tape 2. M1 and M2 are assumed to exist because L1 and L2 are recursive languages, meaning there exists Turing machine that decide them. A recursive language has a Turing machine that decide membership for every input string in finite time. This is how I construct a new TM that decide the intersection L1 intersected L2 of 2 recursive language L1 and L2. This proves closure. If L1 and L2 are recursive, then L1 intersected L2 is also recursive. 2 tapes, it uses 2 tapes. Input copy, the input string W is copied onto both tapes. Simulation 1, MN simulate M1, the TM for L1 on tape 1. Simulation 2, if M1 accept MN, simulates M2, the TM for L2 on tape 2. Conditional acceptance, only if both M1 and M2 accept those MN accept. Rejection, if either M1 or M2 rejects MN, rejects. Let's test MN. Input BBAA M1 even AS accept M2 start with B accept MN accept. Input BAAA M1 even AS rejects MN reject M2 isn't even simulated. Input AAA BBB M1 even AS accept M2 start with B rejects MN rejects. Input A, M1 even, AS accept, M2 start with, B reject, MN reject.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rainier Angelo Deo G. Aninon. I'm the second reporter. My report is all about halting problem. The halting problem is a problem of determining from a description of an arbitrary computer program and an input whether the program will finish running or continue to run forever. Example sa halting problem, recursively generable problem that is also undesirable. Non-real languages. Regular DFA, context-free PDA, context-sensitive, recursively enumerable RE. So, ang halting problem kay recursively enumerable RE. Definition of the halting problem. Does a given Turing machine M halt on a given input W? Ang input sa W is machine M. The universal Turing machine. A Turing machine simulator. So ang given niya is TM, M, and W. Aim. Build another TM called H that will output. So, accept if M accept, W and reject otherwise. An algorithm for H simulate M on W. H, open parenthesis, M and W is equal to accept if M accept W implies H is in RE. Reject if M does not accept W. Question. If M does not halt on W, what will happen to H? A claim. No H that is always guaranteed so halt can exist. Proof Alan Turing 1936 by contradiction. Let us assume H is exist. Assume naman ka ba para exist ang H? M and W, H will accept or reject. HP proof, step 1. The assumption. It assumes, for the sake of contradictions that such as halting determining machine H does exist. Constructing machine D. The key step is constructing a new Turing machine D that uses H as a subroutine. D takes a Turing machine M as input and does the following. It feeds M and M the code of machine M and N as its input to H. This is the essentially running M on itself. Number 2. D then outputs the opposite of what H outputs. The crucial point is this: if H correctly predicts that M halts when run on itself, D will then incorrectly predict that M will not halt. If H correctly predicts that M does not halt when run on itself, D will then incorrectly predict that M will halt. In either case, these outputs contradicts H prediction. The existence of H implies the existence of D, but the construction of D shows H cannot be correct in all cases. Therefore, the initial assumption that H exists must be false. HP proof, step 2. Self-reference. It highlights the crucial aspect of self-reference. A program like Turing Machine M can be given its own code as input. This is the analogs to a compiler which take code as input to produce executable code. Machine D's behavior defines the behavior of machine D, which incorporates the hypothetical halting predicting machine HD takes a turning machine M as input M. Accept if M does not accept its own code as input. Reject M if does accept its own code as input. The contradiction. The slide then asks what happened if we D its own code as input. If D accept, this means that D does not accept, which is a contradiction. If D rejects, this means D does accept, again by definition of D also contradiction. This inescapable contradiction proves that the initial assumption that a machine H capable of solving the halting problem exists is false. Therefore, the halting problem is undesirable of paradox and strange loops. The halting problem to the broader philosophical concept of paradox and self-reference. Example, it mentions classic paradox like Barber's paradox, who shaves the barber, and Zeno's paradox, Achilles and the tortoise, along with the self-referential nature of MC Escher's arts. These examples all shares a common thread: self-reference that leads to contradictions of infinite loops. Further, reading it recommends Gödel, Escher, Bach, and Eternal Golden Braid by Douglas Hofstadter, a Pulitzer Prize-winning book that explores the connections between mathematics, art, and music through the lens of self-reference and recursion. The diagonalization language. It's a formal language that is not recursively enumerable. This means there is no Turing machine that can list all the strings belonging to the languages. The existence of such a language further reinforces the idea that there are inherent limits to what can be computed algorithmically. Example of language that is not recursively enumerable. Non-real languages, regular diff-A, context-free PDA, context-sensitive, recursive, and recursively enumerable. Ang diagonalization language kay gawa siya sa recursively enumerable, which means not recursive enumerable.
Good afternoon, Madam Janice. I am Patricia Lynn V. Cornelio, and this is a continuation of our topic, a language about TMs and acceptance. Let L be the language of all strings. M, W, ST. First, M is a TM coded in binary with input alphabet also binary. Second, W is a binary string. Third, M accepts input W. So, the language L is a set of strings. Each strings in L has a specific format. So, M represents a Turing machine. Crucially, M is encoded in binary. This means the description of the Turing machine itself, its states, transformation, etc., is represented as a sequence of zeros and ones The input alphabet of M is also binary, only 0 and 1. So, W represents a binary string which serves as input to the Turing machine M. So, the strings M and W are only members of L if they satisfy the following condition. The Turing machine M accepts the input string W accepts means that when M is run with W as input, it eventually reaches an accepting state. Enumerating all binary string. Let W be a binary string, then 1W drive 1 where I is some integer. If W sub then I equal 1. If W equals 0, then I equal 2. If W equal 1, then I equal 3, so on. If 1W I, then call W as the ith word or ith binary string denoted by WI. A canonical ordering of all binary string 0 1 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1 0 0 1 0 0 1 0 1 1 1 0 and so on. So curly bracket W sub 1, W sub 2, W sub 3, W sub 4, and so on. So representing binary string as integers, the core idea is to assign a unique integer to each binary string. This is done using the function 1W equal 1, where W is a binary string, a sequence of zeros and ones. I is an integer representing the string's position enumeration. 1W denotes the integer value of the binary string W, treating W as a binary number. So, examples, if W is the empty string, then I equal 1. So, if W 0, then I equal 2. If W equal 1, then I equal 3. If W equal 0, 0, 0, then I equal 4, and so on. Any TM can also be binary coded. M equal bracket Q bracket 0 curly bracket 0 1 delta G Q sub 0 BF. Map all states, type, symbols, and transitions to integers, binary strings, delta Q G Q sub 1 X sub G Q sub I X sub G equal Q sub key X sub T sub M will be represented as drive 0 sub I 1 0 sub G 1 0 sub key 1 0 L 1 0 sub M. Results: each TM can be written down as a long binary string. Canonical ordering of TMs: curly bracket M sub 1, M sub 2, M sub 3, M sub 4, and so on. So, a Turing machine M is defined by a set of components. Q, a set of states. Curly bracket 0, 1, the input alphabet only 0 and 1. Delta, the tape alphabet, all symbols that can appear on the TM's tape. So, the transition function defines how the TM moves based on its current state and the symbols it reads. Q sub 0, the initial state. B, the blank symbol. F, the set of final accepting. Binary coding, the key idea is to map all these components into integers and then represent those integers as binary string. This means each tape symbols and transition is given a unique integer identifier. The transition functions, which is a set of rules, can also be represented in this way. So, the diagonalization language. L sub D equal curly bracket W sub I The language of all strings whose corresponding machine does not ask itself. So, input word W para diagonal. So, the diagonal language is defined as the set of all strings WI such that WI is not in the language. So, L sub D is not RE. Proof by contradiction. Let M be the TM for L sub D. Drive M has to be equal to some M sub key STL M sub key equal L sub D. Well, W key belongs to L M sub key or not. So the claim LD is not RE. That's no Turing machine. Turing machine M that recognizes L and L sub D. This means L M equal L sub D sub, where LM denotes the language accepted by M. So this proof uses the diagonal argument to show that no Turing machine can recognize L and D. The core idea is that if such a machine existed, it would inevitably lead to a self-contradictory situation. This demonstrates the existence of language that are inherently uncomputable. Why should there be language that do not have TMS? Without TMS can solve everything. So TMS being a powerful model of computation could solve every computational problem. However, the previous have demonstrated that this isn't true. Language like the diagonalization language are not recursively enumerable RE proves that there are problems that are inherently undecidable. No TM can solve them. Non-RE languages. How come there are languages, sir? E.g. diagonalization language, non-RE language, regular DFA na ay green, context-free PDA, context-sensitive, recursively enumerable RE. So, the diagram shows a visual representation of the Chomsky hierarchy, which categorizes formal languages based on their complexity and the type of automata that can recognize them. The hierarchy includes regular language. These languages can be recognized by finite automata. DFAs, context-free language. This language can be recognized by push-down automata, PDAs. Context-sensitive language. These languages can be recognized by linear bounded automata. Recursively enumerable RE languages. These languages can be recognized by Turing machine. One explanation. There are more languages than TMs by pigeonhole principle. Some languages cannot have TMs, but how do we show this? Need a way to count and compare two infinite sets, languages and TMs. So, that there are more languages than there are Turing machine. This is based on the pigeonhole principle. So, How to count elements in a set. Let A be a set. If A is finite, drive counting in trivial. If A is of infinite, how do we count? And how do we compare two infinite set by their size? So that there are more languages than Turing machine. It set up that need for mathematical tools beyond simple counting to compare infinite sets. The solution involves concepts like countably infinite and countably infinite sets, which allows for a comparison of the size and different infinite sets. Cantor's definition of set size for infinite sets. 1873 AD. Let n equal curly bracket 1 to 3 so on. All natural numbers. Let e equal curly bracket 2, 4, 6 all even numbers. Q, which is bigger, both sets are of the same size, countably infinite. Show by 1 to 1 onto set corresponding from n. From every element in n, there is a unique element, and vice versa. So, this slides includes Cantor's revolutionary way of comparing infinite sets based on the existence of one-to-one correspondence. It demonstrates that infinity isn't a single concept. Different infinite sets can have the same or different cardinalities. This is crucial for understanding the comparison of the infinite set of language and the infinite set of Turing machine.